Hello, this is Afroman Cool, and this is my response to a thread on Hack Forums that was about why or when should parents hit their kids. And honestly, look, I come from a Latino or Mexican background where hitting a kid with a belt was alright to uh, to a parent or to anybody else that comes from this kind of culture. And basically, if you ever even you know bitched about that kind of stuff, you would be called whatever, a pussy, because this kind of stuff was nothing compared to whatever else anyone else would do. But like I was saying, I grew up with that kind of thing where if I did something wrong, I would get hit with a belt or something like that. You know, what kind of scares me in this forum is that people think that a little slap is going to help a kid. If you're going to do punishment that kind of way, a little slap isn't going to work. That's not going to. I honestly, I feel like a slap, even though it's less punishment. I feel like you're literally offending your child by slapping them. That just isn't right. If you're gonna punish them, do like a belt thing, cause at least they know what it is. If you, I don't know what it is, but if you slap a kid, you're, it's like you're calling your child a bitch or something. I just don't see a slap like people are calling it here appropriate. A spanking is fine with the belt or whatever or with your hand. But I mean, if you're going to go that far, once or twice is fine. But I mean, it just isn't alright anyways. There's way better things to do to punish your child than to just spank them. It's it's primitive. It's a primitive way to punish your child. There are 10 times better ways to do it. If it gets to the point, for example, some guy here was talking about that his brother or whatever stabs another kid. Okay, that you don't spank your child for that. That is some kind of thing. If that ever happens, you talk to professionals about that. You don't handle that by your own. You're supposed to talk to counselors, professional people, people that work with this every day of their lives. Okay? If it gets to that kind of point, you work with other people. You don't try to do it yourself and do it the easy way, as other people say here. Because that's not right whatsoever. That's what I think. Now, if you're gonna do it, like I said, don't actually hit your children in the face. Alright? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's retarded. Anyways, if you're gonna, people were asking, what are some other ways you could punish your child? Well, you don't need to punish them. Don't give them the intent of punishing them. Give them something, and then you might say, well, oh my God, they'll be spoiled because you always give them something every time they do something wrong. Well, look, don't do it every single time they do something wrong. Every now and then, give them something in return for being a good person. Okay? You don't need to spoil your kid every single time they do something. For example, you go to the park, he starts bitching or something about something. You tell him, alright, just stop it, okay? The next day they do something else. Then you give them an award. But people here are. There's two sides to this kind of situation where you give a reward if they do this or that. If they do something, well, actually, just don't do it that much. That it's simple as that. I don't know why people take sides. It's really not that hard. Like if it, you should recognize your child and know them enough to the point where you should know when it's a good idea to give them an item and when it's not. Okay, like for example, if the kid just wanted a candy bar or something or whatever, and he starts bitching about it. Get it. It's not a big deal. It's just a fucking candy bar. If you don't have $1 to spend, congrats. Okay, if you want a toy that costs $15, maybe tell him later. Maybe you'll get it tomorrow. Maybe you'll tell it to him later. And then if it's that time where you said later, well, I mean, you could just say no and you could just say yes, but you just have to have to extend that. You have to give them those kind of rewards for being a good person every now and then. And then, and honestly, you should be having discussions with your family or your child. You know, every once in a while, you should go outside with them, spend time with them. Cause let me tell you something. If you do those kind of things, you wouldn't be having this kind of problems. If you act like a cool dad or a cool father or a cool mother, okay, he wouldn't be bitching like that to you. He would not be doing any of that kind of stuff towards you. He would be saying he would be a way better person because you treat him like a better person. If you treat him like shit and you fucking hit him, that's not gonna make him a better person. I'm pretty sure that's what every parent wants for the child is to be the best they can be for the rest of their lives. Okay, hitting them is not going to work unless he actually does something serious. Then yes, spank him with the belt or whatever with your hand. That's fine. But like some other guy said, you know, he killed somebody else or he stabbed somebody else. That you don't handle that kind of stuff by yourself. That's something you deal with professionals. And something else like so just I just want to end it with the note that you don't need to do those kind of things. The only reason your the only reason your child would ever, you know, be like that if you if your child was ever to the point where you needed to hit him, you did something wrong. You did not raise your child right. Like it's kind of like with teachers. If a teacher's a bitch to you, are you going to be a bitch back? Yes, that's usually what happens. If a teacher is cool, obviously all the kids are going to say he's cool and they're not going to do anything. That's just how it works. You don't just hit your child because some other guy said, well, hitting your child might get him away from drugs and stuff like that. That's not how it works. That's not how it works whatsoever. If you hit your child, that makes that child hate you even more. Do you think that child's gonna and then do you think a child's gonna just respond to you? He's already gonna hate your ass. Do you think he's just gonna, you know, do whatever the hell you say just because you hit him? If he hates you to the point where he's not even gonna respond to your hits anymore, do you think that's gonna work? Just just do like I said, you know, if you're gonna be if you're like 14 right now, just do me a favor. When you ever get a kid, don't hit him. There are way better things, okay? Because if you're up to the point where you have to hit the kid, that's not his fault. That's yours. You obviously failed on raising your kid. The kid will never act that way if you're good to him. You know, you spend time with him. You talk to him about morals and stuff like that. You know, spend time with the kid. That's just what I'm saying right now. You don't need to do that kind of stuff. Unless, you know, if it gets to the point, yes. Maybe hit him once or twice. But you shouldn't be doing it every single time for a punishment. Alright? Thank you guys.